Another day here at Top Shelf Aquatics and another exciting video. What's going on, reefers? Blaine here. In today's video, we're gonna be checking out what's inside that box here that just arrived here at Top Shelf Aquatics. Today, we're gonna be going over a brand new line of saltwater reef tanks that we're gonna be carrying here at TSA. I'm really excited to be announcing that we're gonna be carrying the UNS, the Ultim Nature Systems line of reef systems, some of their all-in-one, and also some of their accessories too. Today, we're gonna be checking out the R90 that just got in. We've got it up front. We're gonna be setting it up as one of the new displays of TSA. So we're gonna set that up. We're gonna showcase some of the new products. We're gonna talk a little bit about UNS, and we're gonna be having a lot of fun today, playing around with a brand new setup. Let's dive in. All right, reefers, so this is the R90 Reef Aquarium, all set and ready to go. This is how it's going to show up at your doorstep if you ended up ordering one. So we have the tank in a box itself, and also down below is going to be the stand completely set up and ready to go for you out of box. That is a huge benefit when it comes to the UNS systems. This is gonna be the white version of the tank. There's like a cool gray that I'll be showing you guys a little bit later, and also a black. I'm a huge fan of the gray. They also have a natural wood color that I think is to die for. Very cool. Some a little different that you don't see on most of the systems. When it comes to the dimensions of the R90, we're looking at 35.43 inches by 22.05 inches by 22.05 inches with a volume of 61.8 gallons. So the tank itself is almost 62 gallons and the glass thickness is 12 millimeters thick, as the weight of the tank total is gonna be about 160 pounds. So once you get this stand off, out of the box, ready to go, you need to be able to lift up 160 pounds with a buddy, get it onto the stand. Let's go ahead, jump into it now. Let's get into this box. Let's start unboxing it and taking a look at one of the new lines of aquariums we're gonna be carrying here at TSA. So me and Greg are starting to make our way around the tank. As you can see, there's a couple screws that we're gonna just be popping off. There's another one down here too. But once again, the ability to just kind of get in real quick and get your, okay, just anything on this backside, yeah. Being able to just pop the lid right off the top and get your tank ready to roll is pretty cool. So having that tank system ready to rock and roll. I gotta get a couple on the backside, huh? Yep. And then that's it.
We'll get it once they come down.
Cool. Stand by. So as you can see, we've popped off the box, and right here, ready to go, is the entire stand and setup. Greg made a really good point. This is a good opportunity to see the back side of it. So this is going to be the open section where you can kind of see in the front is gonna have the doors obviously here, and then this will be the open side on the back, right, Greg, for kind of electrical things like that.
Well, you don't actually have to worry about electrical at the back at all, because we have a built-in wire management box and drawer on our, I guess, left-hand side here. We're reversed right now. So the left-hand side of this tank comes ready to go.
All kinds of great accessories, right? We got a drawer, we've got the wiring set up already ready to go. I guess we're gonna pop off the plastic wrap. We'll get this thing turned around, and I guess let's get the tank on deck. We were talking about the electrical, you know, the wiring, Greg. I noticed that there's these vent slots in the back. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit why you'd want to have that on your tank stand?
Yeah, so this is a perfect time because you never actually get to see the back of the tank. Normally it's against a wall. So your electrical normally gets warm. These slots here still let it breathe. You also have convenient holes to get to any electrical outlets that are behind the tank. And then you can notice there's also some slotting in the back for any wires or any dosing tubes that come through for easy access to the sump. And the sump actually is already drilled and has those dosing lines ran for you. Yeah, so it's ready to go.
Awesome, right? I feel like any way you can make the tank easier to work on, these are just the little things I think me and you are both noticing that the UNS tanks have that are pretty cool. I mean, this is our first time kind of playing around with one of these stands, one of these tanks, so I'm having a lot of fun kind of sitting back and checking out all the little quirks and cool things about them. But yeah, let's get this plastic off and let's start playing around with the R90 from UNS.
For sure.
It's like unwrapping a Christmas present. Christmas for reefing. Here it is though. I mean, like we were just talking about, the drawer. This is a really nice addition. I love that. And then this is gonna be the front, okay? So this is where you're gonna actually see the doors. I wanted to mention too, magnetic attached doors. I really like these. They kind of throw you off immediately if you haven't played with them before. Kind of scared me initially off the start when I popped it off, but seeing the magnetic doors now and having the ability to access not just one, but all three sides of your tank is really cool. I love that addition to the stands. I'll be honest too, something that I noticed that I thought was kind of cool when I look at this stand is the idea that you could run it kind of like some gearheads do, right? You have all your gear kind of showing off. You just like have none of these sides actually attached. You can see the sump. I mean, the sump itself, the way this is set up is super, super clean. So I think it almost allows you to run with no cabinet doors too, which is kind of cool. I think it is nice to have the cabinet doors on there. It keeps it super sleek, but if you want to show off your gear, show off your sump, this is a cool way to do it and not have to worry about like a custom built sump or stand or something like that. It's kind of ready to go to show it off. We've now popped the tank out of the box. So when we look inside, right away you're gonna see the reef system plumbing coming in its own box, the ATO for the R90 as well. So it's coming with its own ATO box. We've got the plumbing already set and ready to go. There's also gonna be some covers as well. Those are gonna be underneath the reef plumbing kind of setup, but everything you need ready to get this thing plumbed up and ready to go is inside this box. Let's get this tank on the stand. Initial thoughts right off the go when I check out this system is I think it's super clean. I think it was very easy to get together just to get it onto the stand. Obviously, Greg's gonna jump in here soon. We're gonna start getting the plumbing on, but I did want to mention, I think it was a very simple system to get into your house and then get onto a stand. Overall too, I think we've got a bunch of awesome little features too, whether it be the wire management, the drawer, the random flow generators on top of it. There's so many cool things that this tank has to offer, and we haven't even gotten it wet, right? There's a lot of things that I'm excited to see for this tank once we get the system rolling, get some sand, get some water in here, but we obviously need to get it plumbed out. We're gonna do that with Greg right now. We're gonna see just how easy it is to get a UNS tank plumbed out. One thing Greg wanted me to point out to everyone is this big blue box. Now this is going to have all of the reef system plumbing inside of here. There's also gonna be some setup guide. There's gonna be some some instructions, and if you aren't able to figure it out, there's a QR code you can scan and it can head you directly to one of their setup videos. Obviously this is a setup video here, so stay tuned as we get the plumbing all set up on this Reef 90, but if you're looking for the plumbing, everything's inside this blue box. So one thing we realized we need during setup, scissors.
Good pair of scissors.
A good pair of scissors. We got to be able to get this plumbing disconnected from all these zip ties, but as you can see, the plumbing is laid out as easily as possible. I do like the blue. I'm a big fan of the blue, so liking that, and all of this seems like some really good high quality PVC.
So another thing most tanks don't include is a level. So a huge thing when setting up a tank is always want to make sure it's level. Comes with a nice little leveling wrench for the feet underneath, and a nice mountable level for both side to side and forward to back.
That's nice. I think a lot of tanks talk about that, right? But they don't give you they never include the actual leveler. So if you don't have a leveler at home, what a tough word to say. If you don't have one at home, it comes included with the tank. As we've worked our way through the box, Greg has found yet again something in the plumbing he wants to talk about. Greg, what do we got?
So you'll notice this on the plumbing here and underneath the tank itself. Every single one of these little quick connect unions has a piece of tape on it, and that tape is to make sure you don't lose the O-ring inside. That O-ring is going to keep your tank from leaking. It's super important, and every single one of these has them. So you want to make sure you take it off before actually installing it.
Now, for everyone that thinks it is hard to plumb out a system, I want you to look at how many pieces we're going to be using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is only 6 pieces of plumbing for this entire setup. So once again, very similar to some of the other aquariums on the market, but this is trying to make plumbing and setting up your system as easy and simple as possible. So we've only got 6 pieces. Let's get them underneath the tank. Let's get this tank plumbed out. So Greg, I just watched you unwrap this. What is that? What are we working with there?
Yeah, so most people in saltwater probably don't know what this is. It's actually a little bit more of a freshwater thing. It is a drip tray. Now, we're not using it in the sense of putting filter floss or anything. There's this really porous kind of filter floss in here, and then just some grating underneath. All this is made for is this sits above your socks, and it's to stop that dripping water noise. If you've ever had socks that are a little overfilled, or maybe water's moving too quickly, you get like kind of a drippy, I don't know, it's kind of an annoying noise. And this is gonna get rid of that. And then on top of that, every single one of the compartments underneath have a cover. So you have this cover, this drip tray, and then the socks also have an integrated drip tray. So these tanks should be dead silent.
UNS doing everything possible, right, to make these tanks nice and quiet. I did see we put this over to the overflow cover with a cutout section already made for lights, so that's another really cool addition as well.
All right, so we mentioned it with the sock covers. Every single chamber in here under the tank has a cover for it. So this is the return pump. You also have an integrated refugium section with some holes for soon-to-be product for their new refugium light coming very soon. These guys, all they do is they slide directly in. They're CNC'd, so they should fit perfectly in the sump. All right, so this one is an optional cover, depending on the size skimmer that you use. Hopefully this should fit most of them, but this is an optional cover for your skimmer section, and I would say this is gonna fit 99% of skimmers out there.
And in reality, I'm sure it's probably gonna fit most of the skimmers that are gonna be rated for this size tank, right? In reality, I'm sure they're not gonna be getting some gigantic skimmer for this tank, it being only a 62 gallon.
For sure.
One of my favorite newest technologies that's hit the aquarium industry has got to be the roller mat. And something that UNS decided to do for their systems is they obviously have their filter sock kind of section over here. That is removable though, and you can actually adapt it to run a filter roller, a roller mat. But I wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't want to run filter socks on this unit and you wanted to get a roller mat on it, you can make it happen. So we're taking a look at the socks that come with it. This is that little integrated silencer that Greg was talking about a little bit earlier. The water's gonna be hitting that first, then hitting the sock and making its way down. Pretty cool to see, I'm telling you. All the little details in these UNS tanks are really kind of selling me on wanting to set one of these up in my own either studio or at home or something like that. But I'm really liking all the different add-ons and little added quirks to the system to make it even easier for all of us reefers. The surprises keep coming. So right here is going to be the included ATO unit, the storage unit, the container it may be for your RODI water. This comes with the reef systems, the 90, all of the other sizes, the 60 and that. But Greg pointed something out that, once again, super cool. Greg, let's show off, in my opinion, one of the coolest little additions to an ATO box.
Yes, this is a super tiny feature that you'll never think about outside of the tank at least, but you have to imagine your stand's gonna sit about an inch over top of this because it's made to fit in there. So
this is on top of your sump too,
exactly.
Right? So it's not gonna be sitting flush on the bottom of your stand. You're gonna have your sump, and then this is gonna be on top of the sump.
Exactly. So there's not an easy way to fill it. Now, they went ahead and thought about that. This actually pops out. There's a piece of acrylic in here, so it's not just open. And then they have this nice little box that you place inside of here, and that lets you fill water. So it comes out from underneath the stand itself. You pour it in there, it has the same silencing material that's in those socks so it doesn't splash everywhere and get everywhere. And then it dumps into the ATO box, and then when you're done, take that away, maybe put it in your little organizer drawer, and close the ATO back up.
Wow, that is, once again, UNS just keeps thinking of all these little added things, but this is easily one of my favorite little features to the ATO, is having that awesome little slide out drawer. Once again, something cool coming out of UNS with their tanks, but just trying to point out all the cool little additions and features that come with it. Like we were just talking about, this is where that ATO is gonna sit, and so super, super important if you don't wanna have to pull it out every single time that you have this little tray set up with the addition of the pour-in top. But man, super cool. This sump is definitely filling out nicely. Gonna be sweet to see us utilize the wire management section, but I think for now, this is a good stopping point for the UNS R90. Loving the tank so far. Can't wait to get into it a little bit more. Can't wait to see it online. I think you can't appreciate and judge a tank until you see it rolling. So I gotta see water inside of this thing, see it running, and then I can give you guys an even more in-depth review on it. All right, it's been quite some time since we have dealt with the R90. We are really excited to finally get this up and rolling. It's been a bit of time. It's taken some time. If you guys have come into the retail store, you've seen the tank, you've seen it's been dry. Well, there's been a lot going on here at TSA, but today is the day of reckoning. We're gonna get all the equipment dialed in online. We've got some special stuff we're gonna showcase, some new stuff we've recently added onto the website. I've got Greg here with me today, and then once we get all the equipment on, we're gonna get sand and rock in. I'm gonna do another scape here on the channel. Definitely gonna wanna hear in the comments how I did, but let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start setting up the equipment and let's get this tank rolling. What's gonna be lighting up these tanks are the Delua X4s. You guys have seen a video where I talked about the Delua X4s, but we're finally gonna get one set up here on a system here at Top Shelf Aquatics. We utilize a bunch of different lighting here at TSA, but this is gonna be the first time we actually utilize a Delua light actually onto a tank. These are a special edition too as well. They're the white box frame of them, so pretty nice, pretty fancy. It's gonna look really nice with this white cabinetry. So we're gonna be utilizing Delua, and we'll see how they do. When it comes to the flow in this tank, flow is extremely important in your reef system, and we're gonna be utilizing 2 Extreme SDCs, and then we also have the Syncra SDC 7.0 return pump that we're gonna be using. CJ comes with that 5-year warranty, so don't forget, but we're gonna be utilizing CJ. We tell a lot of people here at Top Shelf Aquatics to use CJ. You'll see a ton of it getting used here at the farm, but we're really excited to get these plumbed in and then finally get some water pushing around. We've talked about some of the equipment that's going onto the tank. Now let's talk about what's going inside the tank. Now we're gonna be using a new product here that we have on the website, the Real Reef Rock Kit. So this is a kit that holds 20 to 40 gallons worth of rock that it's kind of like a full-on scape kit, similar to the Carib Sea Dreamscapes kit, but it's with real reef rock. And then also our tried and true, we're gonna be utilizing the Carib Sea reef grade sand. The reason why we're gonna do some reef grade sand is probably gonna add quite a bit of flow into this tank. We wanna make sure we're not kicking up all of that sand. So we've got reef grade sand from Carib Sea, and then we've got the Real Reef Rock scape kits. So excited to try those out. I personally haven't gotten the chance outside of when we were up in Cleveland. I utilized some Real Reef to scape, but I haven't used these scape kits yet. So stay tuned as we get into getting this tank filled up, and then let's get the scaping going. The first piece of equipment is finally on the tank. We've got one of the Delua X4s, the limited edition, and I've got to say, it is really, really clean. One thing I will mention, again, if you guys are going to be setting up one of these Delua lights, be sure to look out for, on the actual physical boxes, the QR codes that are gonna show you the instructions to be able to set these up. Took us a little bit of time to figure everything out, but once we got everything set up, we were good to go. But be sure to check out those QR codes. They're gonna help you out a ton to be able to get these lights up and rolling. We're also gonna be mounting these wires up as well to keep things nice and tidy. Moving through, we've got the lights up top. I've got the bags of sand now into the tank. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting sand in the system. Then I'm gonna start the scaping, but we're gonna go ahead and flash down low. We're gonna start getting all the equipment hooked up, like the power supplies, getting the return pump online, and I'm gonna change it over to Greg's point of view.
So the nice thing about these UNS tanks is they come with their integrated wire management system. So everything you see here is gonna either be covered by wire track itself or these really nice face plates. So everything that you see can be tidied up, make it look as neat or as messy as you kind of want, and it has a front. It keeps all of your equipment well ventilated, easy to access, but as well makes it look as nice as you want it to be. All right, so right now we don't have all of our controllers on yet, but we've got our power supplies mounted. We're just using a basic power strip in this one, no fancy controllers, just on and off. We're gonna be using the CJ SDC system, so they are gonna be Wi-Fi controlled. So this is our return pump here, And then soon we're gonna be getting our wave maker controllers. They're gonna look exactly the same. They're all gonna sit right next to each other here. But yeah, all this is gonna be hidden behind these nice white panels, and it's gonna make the system look really clean.
Okay, we've got the sand in. Greg's hard at work down below. I'm gonna do the fun stuff though. I'm gonna start the scape and let's see what I can create with this Real Reef Rock kit. All right, the scape is all wrapped up. I have to say, the kits that we utilized in today's video, I really enjoyed them. The kind of different shapes and styles. You have arches, you have regular rocks, you got flat pieces, some of these more branch style rocks. There's a lot of different styles we used in this tank. I try to use pretty much everything, but I think the scape out came pretty good. A lot of people in the store said, looks all right. I wanna hear from you guys though, down in the comments. Let me know how the scape is looking in your opinion. Tried to stay below my 2/3 rule because I want to allow for more coral growth upwards. I think we're definitely gonna make this tank similar to my tank at home. If you haven't seen my video of my tank tour at my house, you'll have to check that out. But I think we're gonna try to make this a little bit more beginner-friendly style corals, maybe some more soft corals, LPS, things like that. But I'm really liking how the scape's looking. We've thrown the extreme SDCs into the back too as well. And we're gonna start getting with Greg and figuring out what else he needs for equipment. And let's get water in this tank. Well, Greg, I think that was probably the easiest tank I personally have ever set up. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about setting up the UNS R90?
Yeah, the fact that we were able to set up a tank, get it completely running, get it wire managed, like everything set to go on here. Only thing we don't have is a skimmer, but we can add that on later. We did this in less than 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, and you kind of did the rock and sand and I did wiring really quick, but this tank was a super easy setup. And I think it's probably one of the cleanest setups we've had in a long time too.
Obviously, you know, we popped off the doors, but we kind of want to showcase the entire underneath, the belly of the tank. But man, I'm really glad we finally got this tank up and rolling. We're gonna catch up with you guys here in a couple of days or so. Once this clears up, we can start talking about the livestock ideas and then the cycling process that's gonna be happening here for the system. But Greg, thank you again for jumping onto the video, helping out with installing this tank, and finally, it's wet after quite some time, and we got the tank rolling.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Well, that is a wrap for setting up the UNS R90. I have to say, this is easily one of my favorite tanks we've recently set up. We've set some tanks up in the studio, we've done some custom installs, but this tank was a lot of fun. One, it's a brand new system that I've never set up before, and two, it was super, super simple. I want to hear down in the comments below if you guys are interested in getting one of your own UNS tanks. Be sure to head over to the website now because we have a slew of their products available and a bunch of new products are coming very soon. Also, let us know in the comments, what should we be stocking this tank with, fish-wise and coral-wise? If you guys have hung out all the way till the end, I want to say thank you very much. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future uploads.